Hi, welcome to MarsTalk. I'm your host, Paul Cofield. Today we will be discussing 3 questions. What are the legal issues involved with going to Mars? Could Mars colonists evolve to a new species? And what could go wrong on a mission to Mars? Our first guest today is a world-renowned astrophysicist, author, and winner of the Kavli Prize, Dr. Rachel. So, Dr. Rachel, what can you tell us about the laws involving space travel?
So there's a thing called the Outer Space Treaty. And the Outer Space Treaty says that space must remain peaceful. There can be no nuclear weapons or weapons of mass destruction. Countries cannot claim land in space or Mars. You cannot cross-contaminate Mars and Earth. It was also created by the UN.
How do you think the Outer Space Treaty could influence Mars missions?
Well, have you heard of Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Well, Elon Musk owns a private company, and private companies are allowed to travel to Mars, and he can build a society and a community, but he cannot have any weapons, and he cannot turn people away when they want to join the colony. He cannot claim that land as his own.
Interesting. So, Dr. Rachel, I know you've done some research on how living on Mars can affect humans over a long period of time. Could you tell us about that?
So, Dr. Scott Solomon, an evolutionary biologist from Rice University, believes that humans could evolve on Mars and become an entirely different species. With conditions on Mars completely different from conditions on Earth, he believes this process could take as little as 6,000 years. Some scientists, however, do feel differently. It could take over 100,000 years for us to become a new species. However, many of these scientists believe physical appearance could change in just 10 or 100 generations. So the question is, would this be a micro or a macro evolution? A micro evolution just means you just change just a little bit, and a macro means that we change entirely. Due to low levels of sunlight, the colonist's eye size might change in order to collect more light. It is possible that our skin color might change. There are 3 ways of looking at it. Our skin color could become more pale because of less light. Our skin could become darker to protect from radiation. Or our skin could evolve to be protected by carotenoids rather than melanin. Carotenoids can cause our skin to become bright orange.
Wow, orange skin. So, could there be any problems while humans are adapting to this new environment?
Mars most likely doesn't have life, which means it doesn't have germs. When humans live on Mars, their immune systems could weaken and lose the ability to fight off infections. So, when humans or animals visit Mars, will the Mars colonists be okay? And so, there are worries that Martian children will not be able to grow up in the conditions of Mars, specifically the gravity.
That's all the time we have. Well, Dr. Rachel, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Our next guest is also a world-renowned astrophysicist who's working on the Mars 1 mission, Dr. Luca. He will be discussing what could go wrong on a mission to Mars after this message from our sponsor.
Hungry? Try Mars bars. They're out of this world. And who knows, one day we may be sitting on Mars eating Earth bars. Try Mars bars today.
Mars bars. Welcome back. Here we have our next guest, Dr. Luca, discussing what can go wrong on a mission to Mars. So, Dr. Luca, what are some of the health issues involved with space travel in general?
Thank you for having me. So there are many things that could go wrong on a journey to Mars. First off, there are small gyroscopes in our brain that give us spatial awareness. They tell us when to tilt our head, accelerate, and even change positions. However, in space, they don't work very well due to low gravity conditions. Also, mental stress can cause astronauts to go insane since they're living in a vacuum-sealed container for 8 months, where the difference between life and death is the machinery around them. The whole mission could fall apart if the astronauts can't work together as a team. And also, when they come back to Earth, they'll most likely have weaker muscles due to low gravity. In space, small specks of matter are always floating around the inside of the cabin, causing abrasions in the eye. However, the most serious problems occur when there's fluid shift in the head. When this happens, the fluids bulge in the back of the eye and changes the shape of the lens. And most come back with permanent eye damage and even have to get glasses.
Interesting. So, what can you tell us about what could go wrong on a 3-year mission to Mars, Dr. Luca?
Yes. Since all the astronauts are going to be in isolation, there's a risk that all of them could go crazy and start attacking each other. And space radiation can also be a serious problem on a Mars mission. Radiation can increase the risk of cancer, and it can harm our central nervous system, which can cause extreme behavioral changes. Astronauts can also develop radiation sickness, which can cause nausea, fatigue, and anorexia. And since Mars most likely does not have life, when humans live on Mars, their immune systems could weaken and lose the ability to fight off these infections. And a question we have to ask ourselves is, when humans or animals visit Mars, will the Mars colonists be okay?
Well, thank you, Luca. That's all for today. I hope you'll join us next week when we talk about how delicious Mars bars are. Thanks for tuning in.